A line that is drawn inside and outside a circle is called a secant or secant line. In this case, the secant touches the tangent line at the top. The secant of this angle is equal to the length of the secant line divided by its vertical length, which is the radius. The secant and its vertical radius have the same ratio as the radius and its own vertical length. So that is r over y. Previously, we already learnt that the cosine of an angle is equal to the vertical length over the length of the radius. This makes y equal to the radius times the cosine. Substitute the value of y in the first equation, and the secant of an angle is equal to 1 over the cosine of the same angle. So secant is the reciprocal of cosine. In a right-angled triangle, this is the hypotenuse over the adjacent side. At 0 degrees, the secant line is the same as the radius, so secant 0 is equal to 1. For the sake of this ratio, let the radius be equal to 1. Cosine 30 degrees is the square root of 3 over 2. So secant 30 is equal to 2 over root 3, or 2/3 of root 3. Secant 45 is 2 over root 2, and any number divided by its square root is equal to the square root itself. At 60 degrees, the secant is 2. This means that the secant line is 2 times longer than the radius at this angle. At 90 degrees, the secant line does not intersect with any of the two tangent lines, so it just goes on forever. Also, the cosine at this angle is 0, so secant 90 is equal to 1 over 0, which is undefined because it has no valid answer. Remember, cosine is positive at the top and negative at the bottom, so the same thing applies to secant. On the other hand, the complementary tangent lines would be vertical. The cosecant of an angle is the length of the secant line on the vertical tangent line divided by the length of the horizontal radius. The ratio of the secant line to the radius is the same as the ratio of the radius to its own horizontal length. While the cosecant is r over x, the sine of the same angle is the other way around. We already know that x over r is the reciprocal of r over x. So the cosecant of an angle is equal to the reciprocal of the angle's sine, which is 1 over the sine. In a right-angled triangle, this is the hypotenuse over the opposite side, which is perpendicular to the adjacent side. Just like in the case of sine and cosine, the cosecant of an angle is equal to the secant of the complementary angle. At 0 degrees, the cosecant is undefined because the secant line does not touch any of the vertical tangents. The cosecant of the angles at the right side are positive, while the angles at the left have negative cosecants. After 90 degrees, the cosecant starts increasing until it approaches infinity at 180 degrees, making it undefined again. To summarize this, secant is the reciprocal of cosine, while cosecant is the reciprocal of sine, and the secant of an angle is equal to the cosecant of the complementary angle. As you may have noticed by now, the secant or cosecant of an angle is never between 1 and -1. In other words, they are always greater than or equal to the absolute value of 1.